Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Football Analytics and Rant Show. I'm really sorry for the maybe sometimes the recording quality will be a little less because my phone has been damaged and I sent it for repair. So over to our episode. I think today we'll be discussing about the transfers that had happened actually over the last 2 weeks since we couldn't record an episode last week. So this will be a little bit congested. So at first, I think we'll move on to the confirmed transfers. So at first, I think the first one that happened, I think you all might have known. I think Federico Trincao has been loaned to Wolves. I think it's yet another Portuguese player in their ranks. So Elijah, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, so coming to Trincao, he has not been utilized much at Barcelona. They bought him and he generally plays on the right wing, which is the same side as Messi. So every opportunity they are getting, they will obviously play Messi because it doesn't make any sense to not play Messi. So whenever Trincao starts, it's generally as a substitute. So he comes off the bench or he plays in like smaller games like cup games or something of that sort. So it is good for him because he's a very young player. He's around 22, 23 if I'm not wrong. So he gets this game time, regular game time at a very high level with the Wolves.
He's 21. He's 21.
Yeah, so because of this regular game time, I think it will give him an opportunity to improve his game. And I believe that like every young person, like because they have been bought very young and you're playing for a big side, it's generally always not confirmed that you will win. So like you will start, so if they're getting that opportunity, they will want to move everywhere and anywhere that they're getting to play. And Trincao, I think, will be a starter, and if not a starter, at least he'll be a rotational squad player for Wolves. And I think he adds the pace and versatility to the team because he also has playmaking capabilities. He's very good on the ball. So I think it will help Wolves in their build up from, I think, their half into the final third. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, I guess I don't have much to add on this. I think, as I said earlier, Wolves have signed yet another Portuguese player, and I guess I completely agree with this. Is a good move for him because it's being reported that Messi will sign another 5-year contract, which will literally mean he'll start for next 5 years. So it will be close to impossible for this guy to start unless they start phasing out Messi throughout the end of his contract. So I'd say it's a very good move. So coming to the next one, it's a player which is also relatively young. He's just 23. I'm talking about Cengiz Under. Okay, sorry, forgive me if my pronunciation is wrong. So he's been linked to a move out of Roma. So he's been linked with Marseille. So I think you all would have noticed him in the Euros. He plays for Turkey, and he's quite exciting player. I'd not say he's that consistent. I think many people consider him underrated, and many consider him as overrated also. So he's a bright talent, and I think Marseille, I think they sealed the deal for around 18 million. So it's like a loan plus an option to buy. So I think like on loan, and after it's around 10 or to 18 million. So around that price. And he's a good player for the squad. I think Marseille, it will be good. Like I think maybe they're loaning him out because he might not fit into Mourinho's style of play. So I think that's all I have to say about it. So over to you, Elijah.
Yeah, so I really didn't know the player. Only after Jittu mentioned him in the list, I went back and searched for him a bit. So based on what I have seen, apparently he played for Leicester City this season on loan. So I managed to get a few videos of him on the internet. And judging by what I saw and what I saw in the Euros, he's actually a pretty good player. And like Jittu said, like opinions about any young player are always divided. A few of them think that he's overrated. Few of them think that he's a generational talent and nonsense like that. So it depends on how he's utilized and at whatever place he plays. And like Jittu said, I think maybe he doesn't fit Mourinho's style of play, and that's why he's being loaned out. But he also gets a very good club with Marseille because I'm pretty sure he's going to start for Marseille because of the way he plays and stuff like that. And again, like I say, young players' game time is important, and he's getting it there. So, what he would add to them, generally plays right wing. So, I think for Leicester also they try to utilize him in maybe kind of a central free role to the right. So I think he'll do good there, but I don't really watch the Liga that much. So maybe I should watch to find out what is going on. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much. I think I also didn't follow him much. Like I watched him play for Turkey, and I didn't. I think it's not right to judge him based on the performance in the Euros because Turkey were generally bad in the Euros. So yeah, I think that's all we have to talk about. And coming to another, I think most of you might not have heard of this guy. He plays in Brazil, like he's sort of next gen wonder kid, you'd say, and he's been linked to a move to Atletico. So I've not seen many Brazilian players actually linked with Atletico. I think it's the first time I'm hearing this, especially such a young player. So maybe something I guess Diego Simeone likes in him. So he's just 20 years old. He's been a free agent. He used to play for Fluminense in the Brazilian Serie A, and now I think they sealed the deal for around maybe 10 million, less than 10 million. So Elijah, you have views on this? I also don't know much about him, but from what I heard, he's a very promising talent. Yeah.
Yeah, so all of these people, I have never heard about him again, but then he's and this is not even a loan, he's moved to Atletico full time. So I think since Simeone has also signed a long-term contract, I think he's already in the process of trying to build a team again, because as of now there's the old guard at front. They have people like Suarez, Costa and all at the front, so maybe younger signings might help them. And since he's also young player who plays as a forward, and apparently he plays for Portugal, though despite being born in Brazil. So he gets to train with high level players like maybe Ronaldo or someone of that sort. That is a good plus point for him. And even if he doesn't get immediate game time, like right now, I think Atletico have signed him with long term interest, maybe not to start him off immediately, but to keep him as a squad player and slowly gain experience. And the best part is Atletico signed him as a free agent. So if you're getting a young player for literally no cash, that is immense. Doesn't matter which club you are. And Atletico have always been known to do shrewd business, especially getting people like Suarez for 5 million or 6 million or some nonsense like that. So they've always been known to get good money, good players for the money they spend. And I think this will also work out well for them. And apparently he's on a 5-year contract. So a young player, free agent, 5-year contract, that's just immense.
And to add to that, I don't think if you'll believe me, he literally played 65 games in the 2019-20 something. 65 games, that's like insane amount of games. Its stats are also pretty decent for a 20-year-old. I think it's definitely above average. It's good stats. I think he had some 21 goal involvements in that. Not the best, I guess, but for a 20-year-old, it's definitely good. Yeah. Coming to another player, I think I have not heard much about him. His name is Santos Borré, I think so. I think Eintracht Frankfurt signed from him, and I honestly don't know much about him. Elijah, if you have researched anything about him, please do tell.
No. The sad part was when I googled Santos Borré. From this thing, Google had all kinds of weird suggestions. Santos Bhai, it seems, and what all nonsense. And the first links that showed up were LinkedIn links and Facebook links. So I really couldn't find anything of value in that other than this random news. So I can't add anything of value to this conversation.
What we can say, I guess, we haven't watched him play at all because he plays for River Plate in Argentina and he's a Colombian footballer. So I guess the only I think info if we could have gotten. I think if I'm not sure, I think he played for them in the Copa America. I'm not sure. So he used to play for River Plate. I think now he's a free agent. So Eintracht Frankfurt actually got him on a free. So I think that's a good signing. And plus he's yet to kick into his prime. He's around 25 years old, and he plays as a center forward. So I think they're trying to replace Andre Silva right now, and he has some good stats, I guess. Maybe so far, I think in the 2021 around 17 games, he has some 8 goals and 2 assists, which is actually good for a club like Frankfurt. So yeah, and we'll move on to the next player. Coming to a player I think we might recognize better. I'm sorry for including players which are hard for you to recognize in the beginning. So coming to the next, we're just following the order in which the deals actually happened. So coming to the next player, it's a player you're all familiar with, especially if you're an Arsenal fan. We're talking about Matteo Guendouzi. So he was on loan at Hertha Berlin last season, and he and also many of the Hertha players didn't live up to expectations. The team also didn't live up to expectation. I was actually thinking they'll finish in the top 6 Instead, I think they finished in the bottom 6, which is ridiculous. And Elijah, your views on this move? He's moving to Marseille on loan with an option to buy. So do you think Marseille should buy him, or do you think he should return back to Arsenal? What do you think about it?
Yeah, Arsenal right now, I keep saying it every episode that Arsenal are sinking, and I don't know why they keep loaning out young players like him. In case people didn't know, he's 23 years old or 22 years old or something of that sort. So why would you let a young defender go out to loan? I don't understand. Maybe you could have kept him as a squad player, used him as a sub, or played him in an important game, but instead they chose to send him out on loan. And who are they playing? People like what is that guy named David Luiz and all? It doesn't make sense, but well, apparently they did it. So I think if he performs, because Hertha Berlin have actually underperformed massively this season, the season that has just gone by, and generally in a team that is underperforming, it's very rare to see one person who shines and the rest of them sucking. So we can't really blame him, because if it's a failure, it's a collective team failure, because no one fails that badly. So maybe he's getting a second chance with Marseille, and if he actually proves himself, they can utilize him well. And I am sorry that I compared him to David Luiz and all of that. I'm just saying, he's a midfielder, that guy is a centre back. But I'm just saying they play all kinds of weird stuff, and especially with people like Martin Odegaard leaving, they need midfielders from their academy or whatever. You need midfielders to play for you. Instead they're looking for buying people from the transfer market from other teams. You have a player who is yours, who is contracted to you, and you're sending him out. It makes no sense to me. And yes, I'm not comparing to Martin Odegaard either. Odegaard is just a class apart, but I'm just saying.
Definitely. Yes, so I think that's all I have to say about Guendouzi as well. So moving to, I think, a deal which Elijah can explain us much better. And I don't think I need to add any words to that. I'm talking about Junior Firpo, who has confirmed his deal with Leeds United. So the fee that they paid is around 15 million, which is actually good fee. I won't say it's cheap buy, but still, considering his age, that's actually a very good amount to buy him. So your views on this player, and how will you think he will play in the system that Leeds play?
Yeah, so last time when we were recording this transfer episode, after we had finished recording, I was talking to Jittu about the right back, left back situation at Barcelona, and I kept telling him there's a rumor that Junior Firpo will move to the PL, maybe Wolves again, like Semedo did, or maybe to another club. And then maybe 3 days later, they announced that he'll be going to Leeds. So like Jittu said, he'll be bought for a fee of 15 million, and Barcelona will retain 20% of the fee in case he's sold on. So all of that aside, yes, coming to his playing style, the problem with Junior Firpo is actually not a problem with him. It's a problem with Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba has been so good throughout the years that it's very rare for someone to step in and fill his shoes, acceptably. So whenever he plays, it always seems underwhelming because there is this toxic thing that Barcelona fans have, that they expect the same thing. No matter how many managers change, they want them to play like that Pep Guardiola team. No matter how many left back, right backs change, they want them to play like Dani Alves. It doesn't happen. There are generational talents. They are one of a kind players, and you can't replicate them. And the problem here is that he's not lived up to expectations, and that doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's just not fit into the system, or that the manager is not able to trust him. But on the other hand, I think Leeds are getting a bargain, because if a big European side is signing him, I'm not saying Leeds is a bad side again. If a big European side is actually scouting someone and buying someone, it means they saw some potential in him. So if Leeds are getting such a player for like 15 million, that is dirt cheap according to me. And Leeds are also known to do a very good business in the transfer market. They are known to sign good players. So I think he'll add a lot to them. Not only, and he's not like a ball carrier like Jordi Alba who runs down with speed on the wing, whips crosses in and stuff like that. He is solid defensively and he can carry the ball a distance, but he's not like these attacking fullbacks we see in modern day football who just keep running in and whipping in crosses. He's not like that, but he'll add some a layer of stability in the team, and I think that is why they are buying him. And yeah, I think he'll do good for them, especially in the PL. He gets to face a faster style of football, and so maybe his defensive skills will be more important here, and I think he'll fit this team better too.
Okay, I don't have much to add to that. I think that's pretty much about him. And I just want to confirm one more thing. I think I think this is the third time we're talking about this player. So over that, I think we reported very long back that he is going to be signed soon. So finally, his signing was announced. So I'm talking about none other than Ashraf Hakimi. So PSG have confirmed his signing for around 60 million. So his contract will actually run till 2026. And it's also along with the signing of I think this is not with the signing of Sergio Ramos also, which also got confirmed last week. And I think his contract is around 2 years, if I'm not wrong. And PSG are buying a lot of players right now, and it just looks insane, their squad right now. It's very scary right now. And if Pochettino can make good use of the squad, and maybe they can go all the way, maybe. So yeah, I think we had talked about this much earlier, especially about Ramos and Hakimi. I think we don't need to mention too much about it. So Elijah, if you have anything to add, you can add. Otherwise, we'll just move on.
No, absolutely nothing to add about them, because we've talked about them for like I think 3 episodes of these transfer things in a row. So yeah, nothing to add.
Yes, coming to a player who was very famous, who's supposed to be one of the biggest stars in Italian football, and sadly would not live up to it, partly because of maybe the Italian fans, and partly because we have to blame himself also. I'm talking about Mario Balotelli. So he was out of contract from AS Monza, who actually plays in the second division of Italian football. So as of now, I think he has been signed by a Turkish club whose name is hard for me to pronounce. So it's called Adana Demirspor Kulübü something. Okay, you just call him Adana something. So they play in the Turkish league, and they're definitely not the top club in Turkey, but still, I think it's too late for him to show up. I guess I think this will be like one of those talents which never lived up to the potential. And as I said, some of this had to do with his attitude on the pitch, and some managers they refused to buy him because they couldn't tame him, or he usually doesn't listen to managers. So Elijah, do you have anything to add on this?
Yeah, so this is a sad story of a great player who was so famous back in the day. Like when I used to read football in the newspapers to follow it, he used to be an Inter Milan player, then went to Man City, then went to AC Milan, then went to Liverpool. Like he's been everywhere. So yeah, he's actually a very great talent, and it's sad to see that it's going down the drain. But yeah, like I think the last big move was when he went to AC Milan on loan, and after that it's all been downhill.
Yes.
He went to Nice, played there for like 3 years. He went to Marseille. He went to I don't know what all after that. So he was a great Italian player, and if you didn't know, he's not very old. Also, right now his age is 30. So he's supposed to be like at the peak. He should be hitting his peak or starting his decline right now at 30. But it's sad to see such a player like wasting his talent, and I think it's a lot to do with his off-field activities and his attitude and all. Because I remember when I was a kid, I read about him in the newspaper that he had a fight with the coach at Man City or something of that sort, and after that he just kept going around and never really settled. And I just feel sad because great players, we don't get people like that, and there's so many people who want the opportunities they get, and they just end up, I don't know, wasting it, squandering it, whatever. But yeah, it's just sad to see that. And I don't know which country is he going to now.
He's going to Turkey.
Sad. People go to Turkey or Qatar or India to wind down their careers. This guy is just 30, so it's sad to see this. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And whoever is wishing to be a football, just see however talent you might, if you don't have a good enough attitude, clubs won't pick you, no matter how good you are. So I guess this is an example, maybe. It's even though it's very sad to see this is happening, but yeah. So I guess we'll move on to the next one. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Sergio Ramos got confirmed now. Now one of the big thing, I think one of the young, highly regarded young footballers in the world right now. Many people already started comparing him to the great Andre Pirlo already. And even though he's just 21, I'm talking about Sandro Tonali. So AC Milan have confirmed his deal. So he was on loan at AC Milan last season. We couldn't quite see much of him because he didn't quite get as much as game time that we would have hoped he would get. But that also has to do with him being injured for some time. But still, he's still a massive talent. And since some players might leave Milan, he could be in for a starting place. Especially some of those players in Milan actually played very well in the Euros. So, and the contract is very long. Also, it's actually till 2026. And I guess it's a good signing for Milan. And he's a very good talent. And if he gets enough game time, I guess maybe he could live up to his potential. And yeah. And I don't know if it's appropriate to say this or not. Like when we played FIFA and all, like this guy was actually one of the
Exactly.
most reliable. Over to you, Elijah. Please.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. If I had to say something, I would have talked about that FIFA thing only, but you already said that. Because whenever you look up for like developing players to buy in FIFA or to get in your squad and all, Sandro Tonali will always be on top of the list. And I think
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know if like it's about real life or something, but in FIFA, this guy like he develops very fast. You train him, he'll develop very fast, and he'll be like such a cheap signing also, and very reliable. So yeah, that's FIFA, and it's not real life. Yeah, so I guess you don't have anything else to add to it. So coming to another player who is actually moving from Roma to Marseille. So I don't know what is this, some weird thing that's happening. Some clubs also, like if you look at Wolves also, they're like people are signing from the same club. They're literally signing 2 or 3 people from the same club. So it's about Pau Lopez from Roma to Marseille. So they are actually loaning him to Marseille with an option to buy, which is around 15 million. which actually a little bit high for his market value. But I guess I don't know much about. I think if I'm not wrong, this guy, what was his name? Andre Onana or something. Sorry, Steven Mandanda is their goalkeeper. I'm sorry, my bad. Andre Onana is in Ajax. So Steven Mandanda is a goalkeeper for Marseille, and he used to be the second choice goalkeeper for France. And I guess they're bringing in someone of Pau Lopez, I think, because he's relatively younger and they might be phasing him out like Mandanda soon. So maybe like they are thinking about the future and trying bringing him. And it's a good buy because 15 million is actually affordable for them given the situation that the Ligue 1 clubs are facing because of all the money, the telecasting issues that's happening there. And I have nothing else to say. This is a signing for the future, maybe to replace Mandanda in the future. So, Nigel, do you have anything to add on this?
Isn't this a loan deal or is this a confirmed deal? I remember
it's a loan deal with an option to buy.
Okay, yeah. So getting a 26-year-old goalkeeper who's been playing with a side like Roma is a good option. And I don't know why. I think because it's this Mourinho thing that he needs a certain style of players. That players are being replaced, I guess.
No. Okay, continue.
Yeah, finish. That's all.
No. I just something came up in my mind. Then I thought it was wrong. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, so I think it's because of the Mourinho thing that he needs a certain style of players, and if they don't fit his style, I think he'll just replace them or get someone else in their stead. And I think Marseille is being lucky to get players like that, and they're capitalizing on it, and it's good. If you're getting good players, why would anyone say no? That is just brainlessness. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Steven Mandanda is actually 36 years old. He's very old. He's been there for since I can remember for a long time. He's been playing for Marseille, and yeah, he's been a loyal servant. I think it's a signing for the future, I guess. So, coming to a very, very talked about one decade just now. Recently, I also haven't heard of him as of much. I'm talking none other than this young kid, like 18-year-old kid called Yusuf Demir. So he has been brought into Barcelona from Rapid Wien. Rapid Wien, if you don't know, plays in the Austrian Bundesliga. So I guess Elijah can explain this better.
Yeah, so despite being as hyped as he is signed to play for Barcelona B on a loan. And I have literally never heard of him till I heard 2 days before this signing that, there is this kid who's coming, and I have not been able to find something of value in that. But apparently he's he's good on the ball, he's a forward, he has speed and stuff like that. So he technically fits that Barcelona style of play or whatever. And apparently he plays for the Austrian national team, for the senior team. Apparently he's played one game and has featured in their under 17, under 21 teams, and also I think they're starting him off in Barcelona B, and if he performs well, he might step up to the first team. So in case he does perform, Barcelona are getting a cheap player again, because they had a steal by getting Pedri for they paid 5 million for Pedri, and I think with all the add-ons it goes up to 45 or something of that sort. So
but it's still good. It's such a good player. He's been in the Euros.
Yeah, that is with all the add-ons included. It is 45. If some of them are not met, it'll even be cheaper. So I don't know. Since Bartomeu, before leaving, he made like 3 or 4 good signings, and then he left. Before that, he just screwed the club royally over. But then Laporta has come, and maybe he's trying to do a little more sensible business. And for all your Barcelona fans, he's promised at least 3 or 4 more signings before the transfer window closes. I don't know how they're going to do that when they don't have money, but yeah, let's see.
No, this is actually a smart signing. I guess they're actually buying him on a loan with an option to buy. So they can actually see if he plays good and then maybe confirm the signing. So it's actually a good move from them. And good negotiation they've been going on. And I think most of the signings that Barca have done have been either low cost or maybe free transfers, which is actually good given the situation they are in right now. So yeah. Coming to another player, I think Arsenal will finally get a deal done. They've been linked with so many players, and they have signed this young guy Nuno Tavares from Benfica. and he plays in left back, and the fee was around 8 million. So another young player that's been involved in a deal. I think we covered a lot of young players till now, and I haven't watched him much because I don't follow the Portuguese league much, and based on what I think, generally what I've actually read up, I think generally Benfica didn't have such a good season. They were very inconsistent. But what I'd say is that they are one of the best talent factories right now. They have a very good academy, and their owner, who actually emphasizes a lot on academy, and they have this philosophy like creating a lot of young talents and selling them off for huge sums of money. But even though it's not a huge sum of money, but still he's 21 years old, and since he's 80 million, I don't think it's a risk, because it's quite less sum of money, and if he succeeds, I think it will be a good signing for Arsenal. So Elijah, your views on this?
Yeah, so I only heard about him after he was signed, but again, like Benfica are known to produce really, really good players, and if you can look back at history, they've really produced great players. But I think Arsenal are lucky to get players, because as of now nobody seems to want to sign with them. And no disrespect to Arsenal, but it seriously looks like that. And apparently it's a long-term contract, and he's a left-sided defender, so sometimes he apparently also fills in at left centre back, and it's a long-term contract, and only for like around, I don't know how many, 8-10 million was what I read last. I don't remember how much
Yes,
it is.
it's around 8 million. Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's Arsenal's effort to freshen up their defense, especially considering the defenders they had last season. So no matter what he does, I think it'll be an improvement, because he's also a young player, and if he makes mistakes, it's only because he learned from them, and it will help him improve in the longer run. So I think it's a good move that they're signing younger players, and I hope they also develop their own academy talent instead of loaning them out to their rivals like they've done last season. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, let's hope he gets enough game time, and I think this is good from Arsenal, because they're thinking into the future, because I think their centre backs are quite old right now, especially David Luiz, and yeah. So I guess I completely agree with you. Since he is a young player, I think even though people playing in the Premier League actually get a lot of criticism, but still, since he's a young player, he can make those small mistakes and get away with it. So he can learn from that also, and it will be a good big step up, I guess, coming from Portuguese league to the Premier League. But still, Portuguese players have actually done very well in the Premier League if you look at the last 10 years. So yeah. Coming to another deal, and I don't know why there are a lot of players which we haven't heard of much, but there is one which we have heard of. I think we've all appreciated how he has been, like how good he has been in the recent Copa America tournament for Argentina. I'm talking about Rodrigo de Paul. So this is actually maybe if not the biggest signing in the last week, I guess, because it's a player in his prime, and Atletico bought him for a free around 35 million from Udinese. So Udinese is not a low tier club. Definitely, they're actually a club who actually has made a lot of upsets that season, and I think they finished exactly maybe in the middle of the table. So I think the deal has been working. It's not just purely based on his performance in the Copa America. I think they have been planning this deal before, and this just got completed. So they signed him for around 35 million, and I think I don't need to explain much about him. I think most of you would have heard of him and how good he has been in the tournament, and how good he has been, especially in the last season for Udinese. So Elijah, your views on this?
Yeah, so in case no one has heard of him, at least you would have seen him in the Copa America final, or at least in the highlight. He is the one who gave the ball to Di Maria, which he scored a goal, and that's how they won the trophy. So he's been a standout player. He, alongside Lo Celso, Emi Martinez, Di Maria, have all been exceptional players, and he's been a key figure in helping Argentina to their first major trophy, and I don't know how long. And like Jitu, I said, it's been a long time coming, and they just announced it after the tournament finished. So it's good to see that Atletico are actually making good moves in the transfer window and actually fighting to retain their title come next season, because this season was a little too close for comfort, and I think next season they'll try to put up a better fight and maybe close it out with a little bit of comfort instead of cutting it to as close as they did this year. So I think he will help them a lot, because they have lost people like Thomas Partey and all to Arsenal, and they needed another player who is also defensively minded but also can give good balls up front. So I think, I'm not saying he'll replace Thomas Partey, but he's a very good addition to the centre midfield, and I think he will improve their play with the ball going forward, because we've seen Diego Simeone moving from his usual parking the bus tactics to a little bit more free flowing football. So I think he'll aid in that movement for that team. Yeah,
definitely. Coming to not so much of star signing or something like that, I'm talking about a guy who actually played very well in the Portuguese league for Sporting Club de Portugal, and Inter got very interested and actually bought him for quite a good sum of money, but he just couldn't break into the squad, because as you all know, Inter had such a dominant season in the Serie A last season, and it's already hard to get into the starting lineup, and they eventually loaned him out back to Sporting Club. And I think they eventually decided they're not buying him, because I think the reason has to do with the current financial situation they're in right now, and their owner is actually in a lot of debt in terms of money, and I think they, as you can see, they already offloaded Hakimi, so it's not much of a surprise that they're offloading him also. So, and I think it's actually to reduce maybe the wages also, because he actually moved on free transfer to Benfica. I think for Benfica, I think this is actually a good deal, because he has played in the Portuguese league before. He is experienced with it. So bringing in such an experienced guy, and he's just 28, he's not too old also, so it will be a good add to them, maybe to strengthen their squad with a bit more experience. And also to add to the fact that he's also a Portuguese player also, so which will be good for them as well. So I don't have much to add about this, I guess. Okay, coming to I think second, which is actually supposed to be a last confirmed deal. It's about Mitchell Baker, and he's quite young and he's leaving PSG. I think it's mainly has to do with him struggling to make out into the first team. And he's moving to actually not a bad side. I think he can still get a big money move if he manages to perform well in this new club. I think I'm talking about Bayer Leverkusen. It's actually one of the since the last 5 years in the Bundesliga. So, and I guess he'll be getting quite an ample amount of game time. Also, compared to when he was in PSG, I guess he would have been mostly in the reserve team. And so it will be good for him, and he can actually, if he plays well, he can get a good good amount of money as a future signing. Elijah, your views on this?
Yeah, so talking about him, apparently he was a good player. Was a good player. Thomas Tuchel used to prefer him and start him as his first choice left back, but as Pochettino came in, he fell out of favor and all of that. So despite being only 21, he is still leaving PSG with those 5 trophies under his belt. So for a 21-year-old player, already having 5 trophies is a very big thing. And though he might have fallen out of favor and left PSG, I think Leverkusen is a pretty good team. And though Leverkusen are known to let go of big names, they still do have quite a good ensemble of players. Especially you have people like Patrick Schick who came to the fore in the Euros. They just burst on scene. So they do have good players, and if they manage to get their tactics right, if they manage to get a few additional signings who help them in their style of play, I think they can do really well in the Bundesliga this season. So it's going to be a team to watch.
Yes, okay. Coming to a big name, I think most of you would have heard him. We were actually, when we planned the script for this episode, we were not.
Can you hear me?
Like this deal didn't happen, but we just added it recently. Just now, I think we added it. I'm talking about none other than Rui Patricio, who is actually leaving Wolves for Roma. So Rui Patricia, as you've known, he's been there, I think, for quite some time in Wolves, and he has been quite consistent for them. And I don't know, I don't know why they're selling right now. Maybe because he's 33 or something. And I don't know if they have a good replacement for him right now, or are they planning to buy someone a big goalkeeper later on. But for him, I guess it's a good move. Maybe Roma. I'd say Roma is actually maybe a bit better than Wolves, because they have been traditionally in the top 6 or top 7 in Serie A, and they usually push it for Champions League and Europa League places, and they are currently going to play in the Conference League, I guess. So it's also European football for him. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I actually don't understand why they sold him. Yeah, Raja, your views on this?
So yeah, Rui Patricio might be 33, but I think goalkeepers have a longer lifespan compared to the other outfield players. So 33 is not like really old, and it's not like super young also. But he's been a faithful servant for Wolves, and he's pulled off some stunning saves. He's got injuries and all that for the team. He's put his life online sometimes. So I'm moving to Roma. I think this is what I meant when I said that Mourinho makes a certain type of signings with the team in mind based on his tactics. So I think Rui Patricio fits that style of play, and I don't know, nothing much to add. I just hope that he'll do good and Mourinho will finally win a trophy, because I think Spurs was the only club where he couldn't get silverware. So I hope he'll do something with Roma, and finally Roma will be able to perform after so many years of chronic underperforming.
Yes, yeah. Roma have been very, very busy in the transfer market. A lot of deals confirmed, I guess. And let's see if they mount up a proper title challenge, or at least finish in the top 4. I think it's been like 22 years since they last won the Serie A, which is actually among only one of the 3 only Serie A's they have won. I think that was the time when Gabriel Batistuta used to play for them, an old Gabriel Batistuta, not even young. I think that's all we have for today, and thank you for listening, or thank you for watching if you're watching on YouTube, and do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so that you can get the latest notifications. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye bye.